Hello there! I'm here to share an informal analysis I did for my media effects course. I analyzed the female body type promoted by Hollywood. As we all know, glamorous magazine covers are photoshopped like crazy, promoting impossible body standards and negatively affecting women's body images. But I don't want to focus on magazines. I want to focus on movies. Because I grew up greatly influenced by films, and part of that influence caused me to have a negative body image myself. I was taught from an early age that magazine and billboard pictures were photoshopped, so to me, they were fake and never really bothered me. But when it comes to movies, there's no photoshopping. These are real women playing a wide range of roles, and just about every one of them is a size 4 or smaller. So let's jump into my analysis. I examined 8 decades of live-action top box office films, because the films that sell the most tickets are the ones that have the most power over our societal concepts. I examined 50 female characters from these films and created a coding system with several different components. The biggest component was my perception of whether the character was below average size, or above average size. Along with those measurements, I also chose 10 general character traits to see whether there is a correlation between character size and character personality. The 10 traits I used were damsel in distress, comedic relief, heroic, smart, silly, capable, evil, skilled, motherly, and sexy. I also specified whether the character was the lead, a lead, or a supporting character in the film. Finally, I also noted the age group of the character: child, teen, adult, or senior. As you can see here in the perceived size column, I added a little e with an exclamation point. I added these if the character was extremely thin or borderline unhealthy, such as Ginny from Forrest Gump, Sandy from Grease, and Elizabeth from Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, the average weight range for American women is 155 pounds to 170 pounds, or about the size of these ladies. So I created a simple coding system to compare Hollywood's ladies to real-world ladies. As you can see here, below average weight women get a score of 1, and so on. A real-world score of 50 women would average out to be about 2 per woman, or 100 total. Hollywood scored 56. In other words, Hollywood gets an F for real woman-size portrayal. In this visual representation of my data, as you can see, 45 out of the 50 female characters I examined were under average for weight, 4 were average, and only 1 was above average. If we compare these results to their character traits, there's so many under average size characters, and so few average or over average, that it's difficult to even find a pattern. The closest trend I could see was that the motherly characters had the largest percentage of non-underweight characters. Let's look more into these traits versus size results. All female characters from the top box office movies I examined who showed the character trait of heroic were under average size. This includes Katniss from Hunger Games, Jyn from Rogue One, Rey from Star Wars The Force Awakens, and Arwen from Lord of the Rings. Look at how heroic Rey is with her automatic gift of lightsaber skills with absolutely no prior training. On a slightly unrelated note, I also noticed a lack of heroic female characters in early decades of films, and a trend of more heroic female characters in more recent box office hits. 12 out of 13 female characters who had this character trait of sexy appeared to be under average weight. This includes Claire from Jurassic World, Michaela from Transformers, Marion from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Nefertiti from the Ten Commandments, and Rose from Titanic. Look at how sexy Rose is. Draw me like one of your French models, Jack. I was surprised to find that even the villains were skinny. All villainous female roles I examined were played by under-average sized women, including Aunt Petunia from Harry Potter and Elsa from Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. Look at how evil Elsa is, making flirty eyes at Indy and hiding the fact that she's actually a Nazi. Ah, the classic female role of damsel in distress. All 17 of the ladies I examined who fit this character trait appeared to be below average weight, including Rachel from The Dark Knight, Lorraine from Back to the Future, and Lois Lane from Superman. Look at how distressed Lorraine is, being harassed by Biff because she's got the hots for Calvin Klein / her future son. In addition to personality traits, I also noted whether the 50 women were leads or supporting characters. All 14 leads were below average weight, including Scarlett from Gone with the Wind, Maria from The Sound of Music, and Fanny Brice from Funny Girl. I also looked at each character's age. There were 14 female teenage characters from the top box office films I examined, and all 14 of them appeared to be under average weight. This includes the gals from Harry Potter, the pink ladies from Grease, Jennifer from Back to the Future, and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. This is especially concerning because these types of characters are more relatable to younger girls, and body image issues are forming at a younger and younger age. Now, there were a few exceptions to this saturation of under-average weight characters, as you can see here in yellow. Molly Brown from Titanic was the only character out of the 50 I examined who appeared to be above average weight. Her character traits were comic relief, motherly, and smart. Perhaps the most important exception to this list is American sweetheart Marilyn Monroe. She starred in several top box office movies such as Some Like It Hot, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and How to Marry a Millionaire. She was the epitome of sexy and sensual in the mid-1900s, yet she was nowhere near as thin as most star actresses nowadays. She held the spotlight just before society's perception of beauty switched from curvy to twiggy. According to our class discussion on media stereotypes theory, media have the capacity to convey messages about groups of people that can be misleading. Top box office movies convey the misleading message that just about all females, no matter what their character traits, are below average weight. Top grossing movies are saturated with skinny girls playing all different types of parts across all genres, especially the leads and the sexy and heroic characters. This stereotypes women as having a much skinnier body size average than is true in the real world. We also discussed how prominent images and messages from the media can have behavioral impacts on audiences. Impacts from the influences of top box office movies include body image problems, unhealthy diet attempts, and even disorders such as anorexia and bulimia. Girls who are already skinny and healthy can have a distorted view of themselves because of the movies they watch, while beautiful women whose bodies are healthy but don't fit that Hollywood standard of beauty feel they are not enough. So, to break it down, my informal analysis of 50 female characters from 8 decades of top box office films had some pretty disappointing results. Just about every female character, despite her personality traits and other factors, appeared to be underweight. Though there were a few exceptions, overall, this pattern is a message Hollywood is promoting about what all women should look like despite their character attributes. This message has several negative effects on society's perspective on women, and this problem could change if Hollywood were to change its message by casting a wider variety of female body types for heroic leads, villains, and everything in between.